Welcome to this short video which is introducing the preliminary requirements feature that we've introduced that can store preliminary requirements in the data reference manager. This is available from version 9.4 of our application onwards. The preliminary requirements are a feature of the sort of procedural data module and that type of data module, where they have a section where you need to put in the information about what you need to do before you actually start working on the data contained in that data module. Now, there are four types of preliminary requirements: those that make a reference to another data module, those that make a reference to an external publication, those to a publication module, and one where it's no reference at all. And apart from the last one, the one where there's no reference at all, the preliminary requirements table uses data which is already stored in the data reference manager to rapidly populate that table, so that you can get an overall feel of this actual feature that we've introduced. What I'm going to do in this presentation is show you how the feature is enabled, even if you're using the data reference manager for a particular project. The system set up so that you can actually enable it later on. We're also going to populate the tables with a reference data module requirement, and then one with an external publication requirement, and then what we're going to do is to use the application to insert a preliminary requirement into a data module. So how do you need to enable it? Well, it's very straightforward, and as we've already said, even if you're using the data reference manager for your current project, you can add this feature on afterwards, and you just tick the required conditions box and it's enabled. And we're going to have a look to see how that's done. So we're going to have a look at how we are able to enable this feature. And remember, we can do this even if you've been using the data reference manager on this particular project. Just by selecting that you actually want it to be used, it will automatically be enabled. So what we are able to do then is to go down, as we normally do, go down to the database configuration area, and we get the screen coming up. Now, I'm going to do this line at the bottom here, which is one that we've created especially for this, and I'm going to modify that. And it brings up this other screen, and you'll notice there's required conditions is empty. So what I'm going to tick on that, click on update, and the database is automatically updated, and it is now ready to start receiving your required conditions so that you can store them. So the first of the data reference manager population thing for the preliminary requirements is we'll do a reference to a data module. And so what we're going to do then is to go to the main database and add in an item there, database management. So we're going to pick this one here, the required conditions, select it, and then what we're going to do is to add in a required condition. So having entered the required condition, we then have to decide what sort of condition it is we're going to be using. So we said we were using the data module reference, so we'll click on that one. So we need to put in the condition, so we'll call that something like moving the panel AQ or A1 to 3, and then associate a reference with it, and we'll click on that, and we'll pick anything really. It doesn't really matter what it is. Pick one of those, and it's put it in, so we can add the required condition to the database, and it's done it. So it's as simple as that. It's a very similar set of steps to actually put in a reference to an external publication. So we'll do that now. So as before, we go down to the database. Oh, there we go. And select the database again. And then go to required conditions and enter a required condition. And we're going to put in an external publication reference. So this is where you will find the information. And we're going to associate a reference. Now the database has got several of these references in. What we just do is just select it on there, select the line, and then insert. and then add it to the database again, and it tells us that it's added it. It's very straightforward. So if you have your database already populated with the references to data modules, which you probably have, and also publication module references that you're likely to encounter, and external publication references that you're likely to encounter. You can, of course, add just a no reference there if you want to, and that would just have an ordinary required condition in ordinary text. We've just seen how we actually load the various preliminary requirement information into the data module, into the reference database. And what we're going to do now then is to extract some of that, and you can see how we do that. We'll be opening up a bike pack data module for this. You'll notice that we've got a procedural type data module open in the window here on the left hand side. So I'm going to scroll up the preliminary requirements a bit so that we can actually get it into the middle of the screen. And then the structured, you can see that that's been highlighted. What we need to do now is to remove the no conditions area, and then just insert, we said we were going to do a data module, so I'll double click on that, and you'll see now we've got a window coming up, and this is a required condition. So what we can do is to remove, we'll pick this one here. Insert the data module title and insert, and it's as easy as that. But you'll notice that it's in red. What this means is that it needs to be formatted, and that's one of the other ways of, it's one of the things we need to do here. Format, reference applicability, format, require conditions, and it goes away and does the table. If we want to add another required condition, what we need to do is to put it into that edit mode again, edit functions, edit required conditions, and then at that point there we can actually add in another required condition. So let's put in the required condition there. We chose that one, the other one last time, so let's click on that now. So once again we have two in there, but if we now edit, rather than edit, but actually go to format the required conditions, you'll see that the table now gets put into the correct format, and everything that's in there should be in there in the correct place. Now this mechanism handles the different issue numbers of the S1000D, so it actually handles the transformation between them, so you can carry on using this sort of thing for multiple projects. This is the end of the short video that we've created for you, so that you can actually see how to use some of the features in S1000D. There are, of course, other short videos, which are available on this website.